I'm your host, Cecita Duffy, and you're watching Raw Artists San Diego.
And tonight I'm going to be showcasing my original work, which is mostly 20 by 30 acrylics done on watercolor paper. I paint all original works done for paint from photographs or reference photos that people give me. And I'm also going to have a small ink work for sale and prints of my originals. Well, originally getting started as an artist, I doodled a lot and drew a lot in high school, and in college my mother ended up growing allergic to her oil paints, and she gave me those, and I sort of picked that up. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I did a painting just for fun, and a friend of mine actually thought it was a poster that I bought at Comic-Con. He goes, "Dude, you should be trying to sell your work." And kind of everything sort of fallen after that. When especially going around to different comic conventions and stuff, I go around and I see what inspires me and what do I see, from a marketing point of view, what do I see selling? Because what I think is going to sell isn't necessarily what people are always buying. And I know I definitely have like Dorian Clevenger and Louis Royo are some of my favorite artists, and I always look at what's really cool that they're doing, and how could I, I don't copy their work, but I really get inspired from a lot of the work that I see and just different ideas that I come across. I guess just a little bit more recognition, and to get to the point where I'm actually making, a decent amount of money at it. Well, I do go to events, and I try and I work with models, like different cosplayers at different conventions that I've met. And so like I'll do an image of them, and then I'll give them a copy of it, and then a lot of their friends will see it. And so it's sort of just using that whole networking media sort of thing. I've been doing a lot of that, and then when I was up in LA, I met a lot of actors, and I've done some work for some actors now. And so that's really kind of falling into play. I'm not going to drop any names, but I got some pretty good projects in the work in the next 6 months that hopefully will come through really well. The motivation is hard sometimes, especially lately. Sometimes you're like, why am I still doing this? And then you're like at the last convention I was at just this last weekend. Somebody came up to me, and I didn't have any of my original work there, but they looked through my flipbook, and they were just like, their jaw dropping. They're like, "Dude, I really, really like this. This is just so impressive." And a lot of people think that I Photoshop work, which is why I really like tonight, because I'm actually able. Most of the time, I just show my prints, and they think, "Oh, these are just Photoshopped." And tonight, I actually get to show, no, this is original work. It's really painted by hand. It's not touched up from some photograph I took. I do paint from reference photos, but hearing the fans, and I won't call them groupies, but I have people that follow me to different conventions just to see what I've been doing. And once when I was in Phoenix Comic-Con, this he must have been in high school, he came up to me and he says, "Would you sketch something in my sketchbook?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, like $5 or something." And I said, "What do you want?" He's like, "Just Iron Man or something." So I sketched him on Iron Man. I did it in ink, and he came back about 30 minutes later, and I had actually taken the time after I was done to look through his sketchbook. And there were some other pretty big name artists in there, and I had actually done a pretty good job, in my opinion, and he was really, really elated about it. He was just like so flabbergasted that I did such a nice job, and I'm like, wow, it was to see that, people's, that's like their little treasure, and I like being a part of that. My work can be found at www.kipsworld.org, or if you go to Facebook, you just look up Kipsworld, and there's links back and forth between the two of them.